The Order Bump Bundle, turning your checkout page into a second sale. A one-click add-on at checkout can turn a single sale into two without a single extra email. Most creators think of an offer as something they build once and promote forever. A course, an ebook, a template pack. But the highest leverage offer you'll ever make isn't the one in your bio link or your latest post. It's the one you show a buyer 10 seconds after they've already decided to pay you. That's the Order Bump. A small, related add-on that appears right on the checkout page, priced low enough to feel like a rounding error next to the purchase someone is already making. No new traffic. No extra email. No fresh ad spend. Just a second, yes, harvested from a moment of maximum trust that most creators leave completely empty. Why checkout is the highest trust moment you have. Every touch point before checkout is persuasion. The bio link, the landing page, the product description, all of it is designed to convince someone to trust you enough to pull out a card. By the time a buyer reaches your checkout page, that work is already done. They've made the decision. Their guard is down, their wallet is open, and they're mentally committed to the transaction. Asking for a second, smaller yes right here doesn't feel like a new sales pitch. It feels like a helpful suggestion from someone who already earned the first sale. That's a completely different psychological context than a follow-up email 3 days later, which has to re-earn attention and re-earn trust from zero. The math that makes this worth doing. If you sell 200 units a month at $37 and just 15% take a $9 bump, that's an extra $270 a month for zero additional traffic, zero additional ad spend, and zero additional support load beyond delivering one more file. Attach rates of 20 to 35% are common when the bump is genuinely relevant. What makes a good order bump and what doesn't? The single biggest mistake creators make with bumps is offering something unrelated just because it's in their catalog. A bump has to answer one question in the buyer's head. Given that I'm buying this, what would make it even better right now? A buyer purchasing a resume template wants a cover letter template, not your unrelated meditation guide. A buyer booking a one-coaching call wants a prep worksheet, not a random ebook. Relevance is the entire mechanism. It's what makes the add-on feel like a natural extension of the decision they already made, instead of a second, separate sales pitch stapled onto the first one. Notice the pattern. Every strong bump is a companion, not a competitor. It should never make the buyer wonder whether they picked the wrong main product. If your bump could plausibly replace what they're already buying, you've built a distraction, not a bundle. Pricing the bump so yes requires no thinking. Order bumps live and die on friction, and price is the biggest source of friction there is. The goal isn't to maximize the price of the add-on. It's to make the decision so cheap, relative to what's already in the cart, that saying no feels like more effort than saying yes. A reasonable illustrative range is 10 to 30% of the main product's price. A $6 to $9 next to a $29 next to a $29 main course. A $15 add-on next to a $79 template bundle. Above that ratio, buyers start doing math instead of tapping a button, and the moment you introduce deliberation, you've lost most of the advantage checkout gave you in the first place. Pick one add-on that solves the very next problem after using the main product, not a random catalog item. Price it at roughly 10 to 30% of the main product's price. Write one sentence of copy that names the specific benefit, not just the product title. Use a custom checkout field or store block to present it as a single, obvious tap. No separate cart flow. Confirm delivery of both items happens automatically in the same confirmation email and download screen. Check attach rate weekly for the first month, then monthly once it stabilizes. Swap the bump if attach rate sits under 10% after a real sample size. Relevance, not price, is usually the fix. Building the bump without building a second store. This is where a lot of creators stall out. Not on the idea, but on the execution. Building an order bump usually sounds like it requires a custom cart, a plugin, or a developer. It doesn't if your storefront already has the right building blocks. On store.fan, you can set up custom checkout fields that surface an add-on option right where the buyer is already entering their payment details, and use store blocks on your product or storefront page to visually present the pairing before they even click buy. A small call-out card that says add the prep worksheet for $7 sitting right beside the main offer. Because delivery is automatic on every plan, both items land in the same secure download link and the same confirmation email the instant payment clears. There's no second checkout, no separate fulfillment step, and no chance the buyer forgets what they paid for. If you haven't set this up yet, the fastest way to see it in context is to look at a live example store and study how the product and checkout blocks are laid out. Then create your store and replicate the structure with your own main product and bump. It takes less time than writing a single promotional post. And unlike a post, it keeps converting on every sale after today, not just the ones who happen to see it this week. The order bump isn't a marketing tactic bolted onto checkout. It's a recognition that the buyer already trusts you completely at that exact moment. And trust that goes unused is revenue left on the table. Tracking and iterating on attach rate. Treat your bump attach rate, the percentage of buyers who say yes to the add-on, as seriously as you treat your overall conversion rate. It's a number that responds directly to changes you control. Swap the copy, adjust the price, or change which product you're pairing, and you'll see the rate move within days. A bump sitting below 10% attach is almost never a pricing problem. It's a relevance problem. Buyers aren't rejecting the price, they're rejecting the premise that this add-on belongs with what they're already buying. Fix the pairing before you touch the price. Your customer list is the other half of this loop. Once you can see who took the bump and who didn't, you have a natural segment for future campaigns. Buyers who skip the worksheet add-on are a warm audience for a broadcast email offering it standalone next month. That's a considerably easier sell than cold outreach, because they already said yes to the main product and already know exactly what the add-on does. Common mistakes that quietly kill bump performance. Offering more than one bump at once. Choice paralysis kills attach rate faster than a bad price does. Using generic copy like add this to your order instead of naming the specific outcome the buyer gets. Pricing the bump close to the main product, which forces a real comparison instead of an impulse tap. Forgetting to test the bump on mobile checkout, where most storefront traffic actually converts. Never rotating the bump. The same add-on can fatigue over months, even if it started strong. FAQ. None of this requires a redesign or a new funnel. It requires one small, relevant, cheaply priced add-on placed exactly where a buyer's guard is already down, and a storefront built to deliver both items instantly without extra work on your end. Open your store.fan, pair one product with one companion, and let checkout do a second sale's worth of selling for you. Key takeaways. An order bump is a small related add-on offered during checkout, not a separate product page or a follow-up email. The best bumps solve the very next problem the buyer will have after using your main product. Price bumps low relative to the main item, roughly 10 to 30% of it, so the yes feels frictionless, not deliberated. Custom checkout fields and store blocks let you present the bump and capture what you need without building a second cart. Track bump attach rate the same way you track conversion rate. It's a number worth optimizing every month. Start your creator store free at store.fan.